All right, moving on. We go up the East Coast a little farther. How many of you have surfed in New Hampshire? How many? How many? We got some supporters over there. Our next inductee, Kevin Grondin from Dover, New Hampshire. Kevin started surfing in 1968 in Briny Breezes, Florida, influenced by his brother Alan. His family summered in New Hampshire, wintered in Florida. 1970 is when he finally started surfing up in New Hampshire after starting in 68. So he had to get his courage up to take on that cold water. In 1970, 71, he started competing because all of his friends were doing it. And a great group of friends. These guys are legends in South Florida. The Ahos, the Newmans, Carmen Irving, Lenny Nichols, Bud Coombs. They were competing, and here comes Kevin Grondin. He's a New England legend, longtime ESA competitor, official standout surfer, and coach of a highly successful U.S. surf team. Responsible for winning international events such as the 1996 World Surfing Games team title and the 1995 Pan American Championships team title. He was coaching through the 90s with Bruce Walker. They successfully motivated surfers like the Lopez brothers, the Hobgoods, Ben Bourgeois, Brian Hewitson, Crystal Rever, she's out here, Bill Johnson, and many other young competitors. He told me he was stoked to be up here on the same stage that Bill Johnson and Ben Bourgeois was on. You know, that's a pretty good statement to be in the same class. He's a member in good standing of the Shrinking Appendage Club, along with the Nose Hair and Eyelash Icicles crew of Dover, New Hampshire. You know, you think about it, if you're... I had to do that. That was so good. It doesn't get cold there. He has 9 East Coast Championship titles. In his early 20s, he pushed himself to surf from Florida, New Hampshire to Hawaii and all places in between. He wanted to become all-around wave rider on any and all surfboards, and he loved meeting and sharing his knowledge and experience with others. He's commonly called Doc Grondin, and I asked him, you know, what's the doc? You know, was he prescribing steroids or what? But no, he just had a big medical kit. He's the guy that took care when he was traveling internationally that you have to have a good medical kit, and nobody ever does. Doc Grondin did. So he became the doc. And that's a good thing that he wasn't selling all these opioids that's going on now. He currently winters in Rincon, Puerto Rico, and they put him into the Legends event, and then he's won both the longboard and shortboard divisions. He's still competing at the very highest level. Ladies and gentlemen, Doc Grondin.
Before I start, and now that the room's emptying out from people, you know, being a little hungry, I'd like to say how really honorable it is for all of us to be sitting here looking at this crowd and to know how many years of shaping, glassing, photography, ridiculous. And think of the number of years of surfing in this room alone, never mind in the expo downstairs. It's thousands and thousands of years. I mean, I think we got 100 up on the stage at least, minimum. So I really wanted to say it really is awe-inspiring to look out at and know how many masters of shaping, glassing, photography, and surfing, longboards, shortboards, knee boards, body boards. I mean, we are really, really blessed to have the group we have here at this expo. Okay, now I'll start with the speech. Mitch loves these. I want to express my sincere appreciation to all of the individuals that allowed me to be inducted into this Hall of Fame. I truly never thought that I would be considered for such an honor as this. There's so many people I'd like to thank that I'm sure I'm going to miss a whole lot of really kind and helpful people. I'd like to start by thanking my mother and father. Frank, he's over here. He's a mere 95. Thank you, World War II, for maybe an injury or two that made us become snowbirds. My brother Alan, who actually started surfing before me but got me the itch, and my two sisters, Marilyn and Carolyn. All of them supported my style of surfing life when it wasn't the most popular. Most of all, I want to thank my wife, Kimberly, over here. As all traveling surfers that have made it that far north will know, she is Nurse Cratchit, has patched up more people than the doc even, but has helped us become a really wonderful family, blessed as you can get. And also my children, Leah, Cody, and Brianna, who couldn't be here. Cody is. I was just marginally successful before she came into my life. I was a mediocre surfer at best when I started as a Briny Breezes, Cripple Creek Surf Club, ESA 1A special, living as a snowbird, which wasn't very popular, in Florida during the winter, and then returning to the flocks up north. I guess you could say I covered the whole East Coast seriously because I rode for Nomad surfboards as a young whippersnapper, and I was one of the first to become one of those silly hurricane chasers, of which I hate to admit, at this age, I'm still at it, but thankful that I can still do some of it. After escaping to school in Hawaii with Lenny Nichols, I was sure that surfing was the life that I was bound to forever. I owe so many friends and masters of our sport for all their kind words, helpful hints, and just pushing me beyond the limits of what I was capable of. And also for all the people that helped along the way, the likes of Ralph Fatello, Mez, Dugan, Mr. Krisner, for the wonderful pictures over the years that, as we all know, it's great to go surfing, but it's really nice to see what happened and what did you do right and wrong. So, coaching came to me kind of the hard way, but through ESA and the many, many competitions that we did, I did become the world's longest alternate on the US team. Approximately 6 years, I might add. And they're 2-year stints. However, I didn't feel too bad because 2 of those 3 guys became world professional champions the years after they killed me. So, you know, it was a little bit of a consolation. Looking in hindsight, I really can't be more thankful to the likes of Doc, Cecil, Sid, Pan, Tom Walsh, and Bruce Walker, who actually took me under his wing and then said, "Ooh, maybe you should do this, not me." And I got a shot. Being from where I'm from, that was a really long shot. I couldn't be prouder than to say that some of the people that I've had on the teams that I got to coach, including Benny right over here, I'm so proud of the fact that they were such fine young men and moved on to such bigger and better things. And I believe, I hate to say it, but I think you skipped Benny's '96 World Junior Championship. He missed that one, but you got so much from him that it's not a problem. you know you're coaching the best you can, and and in my case, I'm coaching an entire area when I don't see all these other people except the extremes of there to Puerto Rico and back. But when your own son and your friends' sons and everybody's sons and daughters in the neighborhood can outsurf you on both longboards and shortboards, we're doing something right up there in New England, and I think you're starting to see a little better spread on inclusion for those super polar bear surfers that we are. Michelle was saying that she had surfed some really cold water last week, and kind of mean-heartedly, without thinking about it, I went, I'm sorry, but that's not cold. We were surfing 34 or 5 degree water the same day, and thank the Lord for all the beautiful new improvements in wetsuits and boots and gloves and whatnot. We wouldn't be having the enjoyable time in that water without the improvements to wetsuits, and I really thank all the wetsuit companies, Quicksilver, O'Neill, Rip Curl, the works, Body Glove. They have really taken all of the technology learned from space programs, running outfits, this and that, and really made our life from, this year, from even Jacksonville all the way north to Maine and Nova Scotia, a much better and more pleasant place to live. I'm almost done. Now I got to go into coaching 101. Sorry. My final words to you all are to make yourself a better surfer. How do we do that? By giving back to the love of our sport. Not just to the future rock stars, of which we are so psyched to have all the ESA All-Star kids here tonight, but to those less fortunate. Surfing with Smiles, we help kids, wounded warriors, we help the wounded warriors, and sometimes just a helpless beginner. Because, please, everybody remember, we were all beginners one day. It just feels great to put a smile on someone else's face. Please, surf with a smile, not a frown. Make a friend, not an enemy. And lastly, on the coaching mode, move both feet, both rails, please, for power. Thank you very much. Oh, and I did want to make a very personal shout out to, we have a whole 13.5 miles of coast. It's not very much. Sorry, but we have some of the best point breaks on the whole coast. So you should come try them sometime. But we have surf shops in this 13.5 miles, and one right down the street from my house that's so fantastic of a surf shop. Cinnamon Rainbow's Surf Shop rules, and they have as good of equipment as anywhere, any surf shop I've ever been in all of my travels. Thank you, Cinnamon Rainbows, for all your help keeping us warm, toasty, and very well equipped. Thank you.